Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric, and a continuing series. It's PlayStation 1, except it's not, and today we're taking a look at Night Raid, a definitely, in my opinion, underrated and absolutely amazing shmup on the Taito G-Net system. This doesn't get mentioned near as much as the shmups of its era, but Takumi did an excellent job of making this a very special, unique, and altogether interesting game. Before we get too far involved, do me a huge favor, down below, hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But right off the top, Night Raid is a very basic experience in the fact that you get a game, it's a bullet hell shmup, you try to die as little as you can until you see the credits, and that is it. What is the story? There basically is not one. What is the intro cutscene? There basically isn't one. This is just pure gameplay from start to finish, so much so that I am just running my full playthrough here as a 13-minute video. The good thing is the game is so unique and interesting and visually dynamic, I don't have to do any cutting because the game makes the interest for me. And obviously Takumi is more known for Giga Wing and games such as that, and Night Raid just doesn't get mentioned that much, and I do not know why. Off the top there, you're going to see that there is a lock-on mechanic and there is a recharge period for it. If you lock on to an opponent and you release the button, your ship is going to zoom around the playfield and knock out anything that is there. And right off the top, you're also going to see that score mechanics play a big part in this game. There's so many things to drop and collect. But only the bullets are going to hurt you. You can get close and basically fly completely through enemy ships and nothing is going to happen. You're only worried about the bullets, those pink things coming towards you. So long as those don't touch the middle of your ship, you will be perfectly fine. And I will say one of the main reasons I love Night Raid so much is it has a very unique and distinctive visual flair to it. There are no real horror elements in the game, but it does kind of feel like a horror game, these deep crimson reds in the background there. But you'll see, at least for that first stage on normal difficulty, I was able to get through without taking a single death. This game, from start to finish, takes about 12.5 to 13 minutes. So if you're looking for a bullet hell game to 1cc, this is definitely a good place to start. Now, I'm not going to say that Night Raid is easy. It is not. It can be punishingly hard towards the later levels, but because there is so little to actually memorize, and you do have that lock-on mechanic that you saw again right there, it's the type of game that you could 1cc if you practice enough, and it could get you more into the bullet hell genre. But again, it's just not one of those games that get mentioned much, and that's why I wanted to talk about this one so much. And again, I just love the visual stylings of this game. These pseudo-organic ships kind of look like they're alive, but at the same time you can tell they're machines. Those rotors in the back kind of look like the tails of fish, getting a little bit of a Darius vibe here. But again, just everything going on in the background, how the lights change on those polygons, it just has a vibe that I really enjoy, and I finally took my first death there on the second stage. It has been some time since I played this game, but I do have it on my Taito G-Net system that I showed in the intro video. If you haven't watched that yet, look at the link below, you should definitely check it out. But this game was ported to the PlayStation 1 and the Sega Saturn. You can play it pretty much everywhere. And is there a huge advantage of playing it on the G-Net? Probably not. It does use the Capcom ZN series board as its base, but honestly this is the type of game that you could probably be better off playing on a console. I'm just playing it here on the G-Net because why not? But again, you can just see so much going on. Now, as far as your choice of ships is concerned, the one you see me playing as is the ship that you get. The bullet pattern you see in front of you is the bullet pattern you get. I don't want to call this game rushed because it does not feel rushed. It feels like they just intended to make one really solid experience. But again, using the bombs, using that lock-on mechanic, avoiding these bullets here, I did finally take one death, but that was my fault. I got myself in a bad area of the screen. But these bosses are the type, once you learn them and memorize them, beating them without being hit actually becomes relatively easy. But another great thing about Night Raid is the really interesting soundtrack, so go ahead and listen for like 45 seconds and I'll come back and talk more about the history of the game, how it compares to other shmups of the era, and basically try to convince you to play it. But enjoy! It's just a really fun soundtrack. It's kind of like hard rock mixed with horror vibes. And I know, like I said earlier, this is not a horror game, but I just kind of get that vibe going on. But I will say that lock-on mechanic that turns your ship into its own projectile weapon is one of my favorite things about Night Raid. It totally changes the relationship between your ship as the playable character and what's going on around you, because pretty much in every other shmup, you're taught that you don't want to run your ship into your opponent's ship. That is certain death. But here with that lock-on mechanic and the ability to kind of move through ships and only worry about bullets, it really takes the whole shmup formula. I don't want to say it turns it on its head. I want to say it kind of turns it on its side. It doesn't take very long at all to get used to, but once you do, it just has a different feel that's unique, and if you've never played it before, I hope and think you're really going to enjoy it. But leave me a comment down below and tell me if you've played Night Raid before or not. I'm really curious who has played this game and who hasn't. And you will see the bosses are timed, but once this fight starts, you're going to have 40 seconds to get through it. And I do actually like that about the bosses, but you'll see here with the bombs, right now we're navigating decently, and I did finally take a death. I will say the recharge time between coming back to life and your invulnerability going away is ever so slightly shorter than it should be, but it's still one of those things. If you die, it's because you made a mistake, and those bombs are going to get you out of bad areas and also take out the life on a lot of bosses very quickly. You want to conserve those as long as you can, not blow them off here just so I can show it to you for effect. But again, visually this game is just so interesting. The background isn't much whatsoever. It looks just like broken gearing and maybe some clock faces down there. It can be a little hard to tell, but what's going on in the world of Night Raid you're never quite sure about, and that's also just down to the fact that, like I said, there really isn't much of a story whatsoever. But what is amazing is these bullet patterns. I love how they guide you around and you can see the openings and where you need to go, and as long as you're paying attention, you can zip around them. And like any bullet hell shmup, once you figure those patterns out and once you don't die like that, everything clicks so much. And that's why this game is so much fun, and I want you guys to play it. The sense of speed, the bullet patterns, everything about it is unique while also feeling ultimately similar. And like I said, you can tell right on the screen here, things get wild at normal, but you could start this game at easy if you wanted to, but I recommend just starting at normal and trying to learn it, because like I said, you're watching the entirety of Night Raid from start to finish in this playthrough, because I wanted to show you just what it looked like, and because it's only about 12.5 minutes long, it really isn't that hard for me to show it to you. Now, I mention this in every shmup video, and some people seem to take offense to it. No offense, it's just how I play. There's definitely some scoring mechanics here with collecting all those drops. I don't worry so much about playing bullet hell shmups for the score. I just want to see how good I can get at them and see if I can beat it without having to use a second credit. There's nothing wrong with playing a shmup like that, and don't let anyone tell you there is. I keep seeing comments saying that if you're not playing it for the score, why are you bothering? Why? Because you're having fun. Don't let people tell you there's a wrong way to play a game. If you're having fun, if you're enjoying your time and there's a smile on your face, you keep playing the game however you want to. That's all I care about, is you having fun. But you'll see that the boss of this area is just one giant gear. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's going on in the world of Night Raid, but I really want to know what is going on. It's such a unique and interesting place to be, and you'll see here, those patterns just get wild. This is not an easy game, but it is a game you can learn. And if you save those bombs, you look at that life bar at the top there, those bombs really take a lot of the life away, and if you place that one right there, if I hadn't died once, I would have been able to get through that entire boss without dying, and that's where you want to be. But because this is a 13-minute video and the soundtrack is so good, go ahead and have about 30 more seconds of the soundtrack, and I'll come back and close out the video and talk more about my thoughts on Night Raid and how much I love the Taito G-Net board. But enjoy! Soundtrack just has that hard rock vibe to it too, and that voice sample yelling power, it just has some hair metal things going on, and I do love that genre of music, so it's something that I really like. But you will see graphically, this game has definitely got some personality going on, with this kind of depth of field thing going on, traveling into the screen or basically falling down through it. It's kind of hard to tell from the perspective what's going on, but it looks nice. And it plays with negative space so often. There's so much of the background that will just be in pure blackness. It's not the most visually interesting game because it's not showing you things all the time, but in that restraint there's actually a real beauty to the game if you'll allow me to be a little bit more meta on it from time to time. But the question is this as good as something like Giga Wing? It's not a question I can really answer. It is different. You approach this game how you want to. You decide what you want out of it, and as long as you play within those confines, you're going to find a really enjoyable experience. And like I said, if you're looking for story, if you're looking for world building, you're not going to get it from Night Raid. The intro, I didn't even bother to show you, is basically just a high score table with some ships flying around in the background shooting things like they're playing the game, and then the Night Raid logo comes up. That's as simple as this is. There is no story, there's no world building, there is nothing but pure gameplay. But the gameplay on offer I think is spectacular. Leave me a comment down below if you disagree, I would be curious. And the boss battles and the patterns are just so much fun. This is basically just like getting a morphine drip of pure excitement. I guess morphine wouldn't be the right term, but whatever drip would get you excited, that's what we should go for. Because from start to finish, you hit the start button, it is action until you see the credits roll, and the credits might be the most quote-unquote story in the game. And you'll see, I don't know if I counted on this playthrough or not, I think I used maybe 8 continues, and I haven't played this game in probably a few years. I think if I played it once or twice a day for the next couple weeks, I could probably get that down to maybe 2 continues total, and then from there I can go for that 1cc sort of goal if you so feel like it. But it's just a ton of fun, and if you get a chance, if you see a G-Net board, is it worth it for this game? I think it is, but it's also really good on PlayStation, so honestly, maybe not the most expensive thing you want to buy right now. But if you've ever played a G-Net board before, go to System 16 and look at the games on it, because there's a ton of fun. But I will say the final boss here is no joke, and it shouldn't be in a bullet hell shmup. But the one thing that I'll give this game maximum credit for is the bullets are colorful, and I never once really lose them in the background. Everything is very easy to see. We've beaten that final boss, and we get this. The 2 ships are trying to escape somewhere underground, and that's about the most story that you're going to get out of Night Raid in its entirety. But I do love the stylistic choices of this story. It kind of feels like 2001: A Space Odyssey in really small bits, those little monoliths in the background. But again, just some more negative space for you to kind of dwell in here. But yeah, leave me that comment down below and tell me what you think about Night Raid. I'd be really curious to hear. Short of that, I will be back next week with an episode in our PlayStation 1, but it's not serious. I'll have videos for the week as well. But yeah, even this credit, it has a vibe to it. It'll never tell you what's happening, but you can kind of infer that. But if you're looking for a really fun shmup, one that you can sink your teeth into, and one that only takes about 12.5 minutes from start to finish to see the credits on, then I highly recommend Night Raid. Definitely give it a shot. Short of that, leave me a comment down below, like and subscribe if you don't mind, but I will see you next time because we're almost out of this tunnel. Bye bye.